everyone, we're here with Levi from Living Gate. If you don't know them, you need to check them out. Fantastic fucking death metal. Releasing their first full length October 25th on Relapse, Suffer as One. Um, what a great fucking album. I'm a longtime death metal fan, so
Clearly. But
yeah.
thank you. I'm very happy with it myself. So yeah, just very excited.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like I was reading this morning trying to like catch up with everything Living Gate, and you all released an EP in 2020, and of course COVID said, oh, no touring, right?
Exactly.
Like shit. No.
Yeah, kind of we kind of missed our start there, but it's great to have like uh a another chance to have like a fresh start with this album. Very much looking forward to it. It really feels like that, like because the EP kind of drowned in whatever was happening at the time, which was chaos, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels really good to and to do it with a decent full length is I think this is yeah, what we needed to do at this point.
Yeah. I agree. So this is my the full length is my introduction to you all, and I am thoroughly impressed with the way it honestly, with the way it makes me feel. It reminds me of being a kid listening to, the old like Cannibal Corpse and Death and, all that from way back. I'm just like, put my headphones on and I can be like, yay.
That's great. That's great. That's what we're kind of aiming for. Just an old school vibe and you know, we didn't want to build on the modern death metal sound because honestly it's kind of out of my range at least technically. And also we really like we wanted to go for something more organic, like not too many computers and click tracks and grids and triggers involved. There's none of that, and yeah, just feels good to kind of make a as technical as possible record without, you know, I wouldn't say cheating, but just, without cleaning it up too much
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. Just like I, I'll call it staying in your lane, doing what you know and not trying to get out of it. I think bands obviously everyone has like what they do really good or where they're comfortable. And it's great to be there. And, like I said, it's, to me, it's real old. It's got that real old school feel. And I like that, there's not a lot of computer switching or, changing of
Yeah,
things in there.
exactly. Like I mean, we challenged ourselves, like pushed it to the limit of our ability, of course. But we never, there's, there's just no way to naturally play a blast beat at 230 BPM without replacing the snares and the kick drums and playing as hard as as it sounds. It's just humanly impossible. I think. I mean, I'm yet to see somebody do it, and it's still impressive if these really crazy fast technical drummers who do it with all that stuff and it's still an art in its own, but our drummer he's different in that way. He's never touched that kind of stuff and I don't think he ever will. He's just kind of relying on brute force, which has its limitations, but he definitely seeks out the edges of what is possible in that way.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all you need is brute force, especially when it comes to, some old school death metal.
Exactly. Yeah. It's you know, it's kind of sometimes it doesn't make sense seeing somebody play like insanely fast and they're just sitting there like they're having tea or something.
Yeah.
It's and if you look at our drummer, oh, he's suffering, boy. It's, yeah,
I love that. He's suffering. But that's, of course, way back, that's what we grew up with. We grew up watching the drummers just having to really like pound it out. And
exactly. Yeah, and it not being perfect either. Like I saw Skinless last year, I think, on a festival in Czech Republic, and I love that band, and you can like the drummer is not like he's doing stuff that's just kind of out of his reach, and it's a bit shaky, and it's a bit going back and forth in tempo and stuff, but I love that. Like it doesn't have to be like a computer going, because otherwise you could just, press play on the drum machine and have that do its thing. And it's just great to see a human being kind of struggling with this, with it, like just barely making it, That I
yeah,
love that.
well, I think in the age of technology, a lot of people really miss out on that, the human element. That's to me, that's what makes music so special. Of course, I like, bands that use triggers and do all the computer stuff. But the human element, like you can't you can't trade that for anything, especially in a live setting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of a choice you make, and again, I do respect like bands like Nile and who do these insane things and it sounds amazing, but it's just not what we kind of wanted to do with it. So it's sometimes it's good to realize, okay, let's leave that shit to those guys
Yeah.
because they can do better than we do. And let's go for a more, yeah, human organic approach and let's leave some of the tiny squeaks and mistakes in there because that's what it sounds like if somebody's playing a guitar. There's gonna be imperfections and there's gonna be. I mean, we try to get as close as possible, but yeah, we didn't want to like track every tremolo pick separately to have just I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
just do long takes and try to get as much as possible on there and then clean it up a little bit if there's big mistakes in there or like annoying stuff. But we left a lot of stuff in there. Our engineer, he's used to working with with technology and working on a grid and chopping up the guitars into milliseconds almost, and he picked out a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, is this okay? And we're like, yeah, it sounds like a human playing the guitar. Leave it in there. Yeah.
That's cool. So in my mind, one of, and I say one of the standout tracks is the leadoff track to cut off the head of the snake.
Hmm.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Yeah. What a way to like really open the album up, and prepare for the onslaught that's coming, in the
Yeah.
songs following.
Thank you. Yeah, it's um yeah, it's really we were like, let's just burst in there like straight away and not lead into it or anything or ease into it. Yeah, it's definitely one of the crazier tracks with there's so much info in there and there's so much small nuances that kind of every time I mean there's a structure in there, but if like if riff B comes back, it's slightly different. It's always being chopped up a little bit. Like nothing is exactly. There's no A B C going on. It's like A and then B, like accent with some strange stuff in there, and then the whole ending is basically like us using little tiny elements of all the riffs that have passed by in the song so far, and just making a really weird jigsaw puzzle with it.
That's some of the best times though, is like, oh, how weird can we get here with what we have, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how much can we remember?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
constantly.
So, it preparing for for the release here in just a couple of weeks, is there, how has the response been that you're seeing so far with what you all have put out?
It's pretty good, I think. I mean, the people at Relapse do a great job. They did so with the EP. Um, yeah, we got kind of, blocked there by COVID, but they're doing such a great job with this record, and they're clearly very enthusiastic about it themselves, and they're really trying to get everything out of it, and so are we, and yeah, it's been a good response so far, and I think it's only going to get better if we can start playing live shows. Like, and we leave in tour on tour in about a week and a half. So I'm very curious to, yeah, to present those songs to an audience, and play them, because it's always a bit different as well. And yeah, we don't get to play as much because Aaron is in the States, and the other three of us are over here in Europe. So it always feels kind of special when we, get the chance to get together and play these songs in one room.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be like almost like a relief, like, oh, we're back together again. Let's do this.
Exactly. You kind of feel like a band again instead of, some project with people scattered all over
Yeah.
the globe.
Yeah, but how, on the flip side, how awesome is it that you can actually do that like at a worldwide level now, whereas 80s and 90s, that, back then it was such a struggle to have that constant contact and do all that.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean, we can bitch and moan about technology all we want, but it definitely, there's a scary side to it, but there's so many perks, and like you said, it just wouldn't be possible to do this if we had to, you know, fax ideas about songs to each other, and like now we record shit, and we send it over to Aaron, and we get to, like, there's a lot more creative going back and forth in that way. Um, Although, like, the big difference with this album and the EP is that, like, Aaron flew over here to record the album with us in the studio, and that also, like, then you really realize that even though it's great, you got stuff like FaceTime and email, and just, picking up a phone and calling somebody on the other side of the world, but if you're in the same room, it's still, there's a different chemistry. It's way snappier to just bounce ideas off each other, and it really enhanced the record. I think just the fact that we were all there in the same room, and being focused on only that record for 10 days altogether.
Yeah, well, and you when you're all together, you also get the energy that everyone's feeling, or putting out there. So it really helps it in my mind, it translates better, and when you're recording is to have everyone together and go, oh, okay.
Exactly, yeah. It's because with the EP, we recorded drums and the two guitar tracks separately, and then we sent everything over to Aaron, and he kind of did his thing, and he checked in with us on a couple of things, but you can't, like, you can't pick up a phone to discuss every note you're gonna play. So he had to make a lot of decisions on his own, and now that wasn't the case. We were all there in the studio, and he would be able to go, like, okay, what do you like? Here's a couple of options, and what do you guys think? And you could pop up the idea of, how about combining the two options, or what do you think about this? And then he could have a response like that, and it's a very different, it's a very different chemistry.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, how do you feel like the end product of Suffer as One is compared to the EP, knowing like how you guys recorded?
Um, I feel like it's more of um a a record by a band instead of four individuals who had input separately on it. Um, and especially like the EP was our first attempt at making a death metal record or making death metal music. Um, so it's kind of still, we're tipping our toes in the water while the full length was, we had something to build on. Like there was a certain style, we were like, all right, this is what Living Gate kind of sounds like, but with the full length we could, expand that and really see like, all right, like this is the basic sound of Living Gate according to the EP, but what else can we do and how can we how can we put it more into detail and how far can we, push it?
Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the EP. Uh, I'm really digging the full length though. So, as far as all of the songs on Suffer is One, is there a song that stands out to you as like one of your favorites?
Um, I think like the Hunting Maggots single that we released is one I really like, which while it was it's one of the oldest songs on there, it's one of the songs we wrote earliest, but I really like you know, the structure of the song. It has a lot of variation in one song. There's a lot of fast-paced stuff, and then there's a lot of these, ogre walking through the woods kind of riffs in there as well. And I really like that dynamic in death metal where it's like, you can go all out and super fast and technical, and then you can just pull back, like pull the handbrake and go into the complete opposite direction and keep it super simple and stompy. And I think that song kind of has a good is like a good example of that. Yeah. And other than that, I really like the Ones and Zeros song, which is a kind of a slower song
Hmm.
and more monotonous, but I really like it's so much fun to play that song. It's like not super technical, but still there's I don't know, it just makes me feel happy to play that.
Well, I'll tell you, I think, when it comes to death metal, you're right on. I like things that are fast and in your face. And also I like the real slowed down, what you call them like ogre walking through the woods riffs. And I just call them big dumb riffs,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you just want it to like punch you in the face and it doesn't do it real fast. It's just like,
exactly. Yeah, it's
you know,
just yeah, it's just kind of ignorant, which is
it is.
not a bad thing. Yeah,
No, it's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing about death metal. You can have both sides of it.
exactly.
Real. So so with you guys going out in about a week and a half, where is that tour taking you?
We're sticking to like mainland Europe. Um, we're playing a couple cool festivals. We're playing Samhain Festival in the Netherlands. We're playing Amplifest in Portugal, and then we're doing a couple of headline shows. Like we're playing my hometown here in Belgium, in Kortrijk, and then we're doing like a couple shows in Italy, Austria, a couple Germany shows. I think there's a Switzerland show in there as well. I think it's about 10 or 11 shows, which I wish was more, even because I would, go on tour for a month if we could, but we all have different projects and different bands, and we're all kind of preoccupied. So it's hard to, have the stars align where all four of us are kind of available. Um, but yeah, we're all very much looking forward to just playing these shows and having fun with it.
Right on. That now, obviously, you guys have discussed set list. Um, how I guess how many songs are you guys putting on the set list?
Well, we haven't really,
Oh,
to be honest. No, we're the the truth is Leonard, the other guitarist, is coming over to my place in about an hour or two because me and him still got our work cut out for us to kind of uh relearn all the riffs on the record. I think Aaron lands here in about a week, and then we have 4 or 5 days of rehearsing together. So we're gonna, start doing some prep work and our homework and make sure we like get to rehearsal and we don't have to. How do you what's that riff again? You don't want to want to be productive a bit. But I think we're mostly gonna stick with the newer songs because yeah, because we're kind of presenting the album, of course, and um, I'd love to play like one or maybe two from the EP, but it's also not like we're, this 20-year-old veteran band that has like this classic EP that everybody's waiting to hear, it's
right.
it's we're still in our kiddie shoes. So, and just to all of us, the full length is feels feels way better than the EP. So we're definitely gonna stick to that. I hope we can make it to like about 50 minutes to an hour as the set list. Um, so
Uh-oh. Oh, I lost you for a second there.
sorry.
It's okay. I think it's my connection. I think my
Uh,
son just woke up and got on the computer. He's like, I'm in a game now. Um, so I mean, that's a pretty good set list, to look at 50 minutes to an hour of material. That's man, especially playing like death metal when you're not used to being up there playing, just some real in your face death metal. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
workout for you guys.
Oh, definitely. Luckily, our drummer, like he plays in Wiegedood as well, which is basically like an hour long blast beat set. So he's kind of used to it, and he's a he's a tough guy. He can handle it. For me, it's going to be mostly getting used to like playing the guitarist and then singing at the same time because we always, vocal, in the tradition of vocalists, I'm always kind of late with lyrics and putting vocals on the songs because it's also easier if you get to, work with a decent recording of the songs and everything, and then I kind of after the recording, I go back after a week or two and I lay down the vocals. Um, but yeah, truth be told, I've never played the songs and sang them at the same time. So that's always like a little bit tricky in the beginning. But it always works out. Like I always hate myself for about a week, for putting too many words on a difficult part. But practice makes perfect, and at some point it just clicks, and then it'll work out for sure. It always
Yeah,
does.
it'll it'll definitely work out. And you're gonna get real good and warmed up and ready to go, and then tour's over. You're like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. That's how it always feels. Like we've done a couple of small runs of like 5 shows or something. Like when Aaron was here to record, we did 5 shows to just while he was here, take the opportunity to get some live experience. And like every time everybody was kind of feeling the vibe and getting comfortable, it was like, tour's over. Let's go home. So yeah, I'm glad it's a bit more than 5 shows this time, but I'm really hoping we can do another European run sometimes that's a bit longer and hopefully make it to the US someday. That would be great as well. Uh, but the we gotta talk about agendas and stuff like that when everybody's here, and then hopefully we can block in some periods and book some stuff.
Yeah, but well, I would absolutely love to see you guys over here in the States and playing a few shows. That's a show I don't want to miss.
That's great. Thank you. It's been a while since I toured the States, so it would be good to go back there for sure.
Yeah, I just read a story that I thought was funny. Funny from my end, not for the band in question. There was a band trying to get their visa. They lined out the tour. It was like 18 dates, and the US were like, "You're not big enough. Sorry."
Oh, really? Fuck me. That's ridiculous. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, that's crazy. That's something that's kind of, yeah, it's not easy as a European man to get over to the States. Like it's visa wise, it's super expensive, first of all, and then yeah, you gotta go through, you gotta jump through so many hoops, and then yeah, like you said, they might in the end just say like nah, and you're kind of fucked, and then you invested like what, $10,000 into something that's not happening. It's yeah, it's just horrible. I wish they would kind of, you know, loosen up a bit about that, but uh, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
no,
It's
I
only
don't
getting
either.
stricter even, so yeah.
Yeah, especially with all our political bullshit going on. It's just like, ah, come
Yeah,
on.
it's not the main point on the agenda, I guess, for politics in America. If
No,
Living Aid gets to tour the States and how much it's going to cost,
yeah,
a
yeah.
bigger fish to fry.
It's just like that band spent. I think their number was 20 grand to, just to get, the applications for visas and that stuff. And they were like, nope, like, holy shit,
That's,
tens of thousands of dollar investment out the window is like,
I mean, how do you, at some point, how do you come back from that? Like at some point, it's just you dug such a big hole. It's yeah, like how do you, if your bank account is minus 20,000, like how do you even tour back home anymore? Like you can't rent a
right.
van and print merch. It's so yeah, it feels like eh, it's getting harder and harder for smaller bands to kind of survive out there sometimes. It's and then you get, venues asking 20% off of merch and everything, and it's like every little every little, you know, thing that you can get something out of. It's like, I don't know, Live Nation and all that. They just try to like they just get all the venues, and all the venues say like, you got to pay 20, 25, 30. I've heard as much as 30% off of your merch, which is just ridiculous. Like
It's asinine. How is a band supposed to like survive paying off what their bread and butter, their merch? I mean,
yeah,
that's
exactly. It's a real bummer, and but at the same time, like you're kind of powerless as a band. You can't really uh do anything, like it just sucks as well for the people who want to come and see you and want to buy a shirt, and like it's yeah, it's just so difficult, It's the
yeah.
same with like with the whole Brexit thing. It was super easy for us to go and tour in the UK, and now it's always such a big hassle, and you get to the border, and like the border patrol, they don't even know themselves like what the rules are, and like you get treated differently every time, and sometimes they're like, okay, great, go ahead, have fun, and another time they'll delay you for hours and hours to for what, I don't know, like
What
it's
a what a
uh,
pain in the ass.
yeah, it's just strange, that it's strange in a way that politics kind of uh meddles in that thing, because it's such a tiny, part of society and the world and what's going on, and there's so much fucked up shit going on that they're kind of not fixing, and then they're like, but
Yeah,
this band is not coming over unless they get a visa. Like,
right.
what cares? Like, it's yeah,
Yeah. Especially smaller bands. Like, what are they going to do? Come over here and make millions of dollars and leave? Uh,
exactly, and not pay taxes on. Yeah, they're gonna make $500 and they're not gonna pay taxes on it. Not on my watch. It's like
right.
what? Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, we're very lucky in Europe that kind of all borders are open except for like Switzerland and stuff, and it's pretty easy to go across them, and we get to do that. I mean, uh, I can't imagine how it was like before the European Union, where every country had its own currency and there's borders everywhere, and it's just yeah, must have been so much harder. So, and it feels like we're kind of going back to that or something. Like it's weird.
Absolutely trying to like border everyone out and like, no, you have to stay there. We are us and that's it. Like,
Yeah,
hold on, we're
it,
all fucking human, dude. Come on.
yeah, exactly. It's funny we got local elections here today, and ugh, it's just yeah, it's like a city council has to be elected, and it's it's hard to even choose who to vote on because they're all clowns, you know. It's it's ridiculous, and they want to build all these prestigious projects here in the city, and well, it's not a city even, it's a small town. They want to be a city, but it's not, you know. And while you know half of the city center is empty, like all the business buildings, they're kind of empty, but they keep building like new prestigious projects and like that nobody's waiting for with, you know, it feels like we're living in a South Park episode, you know, like
Yeah.
every day, like it's yeah, it's
I
ridiculous.
I feel the same way over here. Like our elections are in a couple of weeks and I'm just like, we have got to have better people than what we are trying to choose out of these two right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Like,
It's crazy. Oh, I mean, I've been watching it from afar a bit, and like the debate between Biden and Trump is like it's insane, really. Like it's how are these two old dudes talking about their golf swing and
well,
like
it's not even Biden and Trump anymore. It's Harris and
yeah,
Trump.
I know, but back when it was Biden,
Yeah.
like watching it, it was like holy shit, this
But
is
you know, I feel like like our political realm has went from I'm going to do these good things and I will do them better than the other person to fuck the other person. They do blah blah blah, and it's
exactly
like,
yeah.
can we
There's
stop?
no there's just no content like anymore in what they're saying and yeah, it's
Yeah,
just yep.
it reminds me of that movie Idiocracy.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I think about that a lot. Like
So
just, it's coming true.
ev-
Slowly
every
but
fucking
surely,
day,
man.
I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like,
It's just a matter of time before, you know, they start watering crops with Mountain Dew. It's just this is gonna happen someday.
yeah. Oh, it's so ridiculous. And you know, on a good note though, there's been a suit filed against Live Nation and Ticketmaster because of their like monopoly that they have going on,
Yeah.
you know. So hopefully, you know, before too long, hopefully they break up what that is and we can get back to
Yeah.
you know, better touring situations for
Yeah,
bands and not
exactly.
relying on this one entity to run everything.
Yeah, get some independent venues and independent promoters and stuff like that who do it for a love of music and not for, you know, uh, numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately there's not many of those
No,
currently.
no, no. There's a couple, and we should all support them very much and go to
Yeah.
shows and yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorites right now here, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and we've got a new-ish venue called Portal.
Hmm.
Man, they put on some great shows, and then they've got in the like the green room area, it's like an art venue. They've got tattoo shop, recording studios. There's a record
That's
store in there. Oh, dude, it's so awesome.
that's cool. Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah,
Yeah, more
independent stuff with people who do it out of passion. Yeah.
for sure. Um, Speaking of record stores, what kind of physical copies will Suffer as One be released as?
We're doing a CD and vinyl in a couple different colors. Uh, the people of Relapse, they always kind of take care of the packaging and the design for us, and they always like nail it 100%. Like always, the colors of the vinyl are super in tune with the artwork and everything. So they actually our tour copies arrived a couple days ago at our rehearsal space in Ghent. I haven't had the chance to see them yet, but I'm very excited to actually hold a physical copy in my hands. It's always a exciting moment.
Yeah, that's super, super cool. Like, I'm gonna have to go order mine because I'm a vinyl guy. Like,
Yeah,
I
me
want
too.
that. It's that big tangible like piece of art. Maybe it's a throwback to being a kid, where it was like, oh, all we had was records. But
Yeah, you can just look at the insert for hours while listening to the record. Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, and the more you look at it, you're like, oh shit, I didn't see that before. Like that part's cool.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Do you know what color vinyl you have?
Oh, there's one with pink, but I'm not off the top of my head, but there's if you go to our socials, like you can get a clear view of the selection that's available. Um, I'm gonna post a video of like opening up a record when I get one in my hands on the Living Gate socials. So yeah, they look amazing. I'm 100% sure of it.
Yeah. Well, and I like how they went from being just a black or just solid colors to, the smashes and the splatters and all the like wild shit that they do with them now is it's like,
Yeah, it's
man,
cool. It gives an extra, gives an extra touch to the artwork as well. If you pull it out of the sleeve and it's, it kind of fits and it adds something to the artwork. It's always great. Yeah.
that and all the collectors, you've got different variants. So like shit, now I gotta buy
Definitely.
all of them because that's who I am.
Definitely.
Um, okay, Levi, I greatly appreciate your time. I've got to I've got to head out. I have an appointment here shortly that I've got to get to.
No problem. No problem. I got
Well,
another interview after this as well. So yeah,
cool.
no problem.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, hope to see you someday in the States.
Yeah. Well, I hope to see you guys in the States too. And
Definitely.
you make it to my area, like you all can crash at my place. You ain't even got to worry about that.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, have yourself a great day.
Thank you. You too. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
sir. See
Bye
ya.
bye.